Well, it's been a while since we've done a video on Broken Arrow. However, today, thanks to Grigory, who's kindly sent me some information which was posted on the Russian social media site VK, we have a little bit of an update. So, firstly, the team at Steel Ballalica say they wish everyone good health. They note that it's been a difficult time and they want to answer questions and share the current progress. As it stands, the team working on the game is in the same composition, with the same speed and perseverance. Now, in addition to sounds and effects, work is currently underway on multiplayer and matchmaking, aircraft polishing, destruction of buildings, saturation of maps with fine detail, and optimization and minimum requirements, lowering the threshold for entering the game for hardware. This summer, they are conducting a closed testing with multiplayer and single-player content for around 100 to 200 people, and they will collect new feedback and continue to work with the remaining mechanics and polishing the game. They say, don't worry, this is just the first test they will do, and there will be several more with more people before they actually release, and they have taken on feedback from December where they got various bits of information from the videos they put out and listened to what people were saying about that. As you may remember, they had an entire channel on their Discord dedicated to that feedback, and Felix was very good at going through and responding to people. Sadly, we've not obviously had any dev blogs on the Steam page with more information. However, they have, thankfully, along with this post, provided some more pictures. I'm not sure if some of this is taken from their Patreon page or if it's all just posted to VK, but I've obviously been putting up a few of these in the background, and let's just go through them now. On to the images. This first image is showing a large town, I assume, being hit by various pieces of artillery. I can see a couple of standard guns at the front there. Then at the back it looks like some MRLS with some supply trucks just sat between them. I can see at least one anti-air unit behind the main guns, if not a couple of different anti-air units, probably shooting at some choppers that we can see in the town and beyond the town. I think that is a unit we'll come across in a short while called the Panzer S1, and the other one's possibly Tunguskas or something like that. But yeah, you can see they're firing off into the air. Other than that, not much to mention. Obviously, maybe a little bit more detail on the maps. Very similar looking and coloured buildings. It would be nice to see a bit more variety. At least with the big tower blocks, the small buildings look quite nice, however. Lots of vehicles and stuff dotted around. Again, not much variation in colours, but I suspect that's still to come. Really liking the trees and the different levels of the ground. You've got real hills and cliffs and things on these maps. Moving on to the next picture, you've got a lovely shot of a lake. You can see various reflections in the water of those choppers, which is really nice to see. Always good to see reflections. I think down here at the front is that possibly a couple of choppers that have landed and are dropping off infantry. It's hard to tell, but it looks like there's little infantry guys under those choppers. Other than that, you can see a couple of jets in the air towards the center top. And that's about it really from this picture. Obviously very built up areas, lots of cities and buildings here. So it's nice to see that. You can see a bridge or some kind of dam in the background as well. It'll be interesting if there's going to be different water levels on the map, though I suspect that's just a bridge rather than a dam. But very nice. Nice to see little additions being made, extra little bushes and things being placed around. Still quite standardized vehicles and things over at the left there in terms of the civilian stuff that's left behind, but again, I expect that will be one of these details they're updating as we go along. And then in the final picture, we sort of get a top-down view of one of the map's main road going through this area, which is really nice to see because this is a bit more realistic. You would expect to see main roads and things. Also, you know, the layout of the town and the fact it's got a park and things like that, it just makes it look a bit more lived in, a bit more realistic. Again, the buildings are all very samey and obviously they need to work on the detail there. But in terms of actual planning and what the map and area looks like, I think that's really good. I think they just need to work on it a bit more. In fact, can you even see on the right hand side there, it looks like there's a quarry or something dipping down. It's not got any water in, so it must be some kind of quarry, I think. But that's really interesting as well, whether they plan to fill that with water or it is just supposed to be a quarry or something. That's pretty interesting. It's nice that they've gone out of their way to add other things to the maps that you wouldn't necessarily expect to see. And also it'll be interesting to see how you can utilize these things. Because obviously putting artillery and things in these dips seems like quite a good idea to me. But it depends how it works in the actual game. Okay, and moving on and taking a closer look at the various vehicles. So this was in that first image as the anti-air unit, I believe. I don't think it was a Tunguska, I think it was this Tor M1, as it appeared to be firing its missiles upwards, which obviously fits in with the Tor M1, a fairly modern anti-air unit for the Russians. Obviously this will be using radar, so it'll be interesting to see if this is affected by Seed aircraft, and if Seed aircraft are indeed in Broken Arrow. Then you have the Panzer S1. This again is a truck mounted, basically Tunguska. It has missiles as you would expect from a Tunguska and drives around with its radar system and can be parked wherever to fire its missiles. Again, it does appear to be on that first image of the battle ongoing, firing its missiles up into the air. Next we have this image of the Sprut Sdm1. This is a modern variant of an anti-tank gun that is self-propelled, so basically a tank destroyer. Then we have the Typhoon K, which is a modular armoured vehicle which can be used for various things, from, for example, transporting troops to perhaps transporting weapons or munitions, so it could be used as a supply vehicle, as an armoured option for that at least. Now something a little bit more familiar, we are onto the BMD-4M. This is your standard infantry fighting vehicle or armoured fighting vehicle, and this has your 100mm cannon along with a 30mm coaxial autocannon. Now while it is not shown here, this can have secondary armament such as a machine gun, anti-tank missiles, you know, your standard attachments you would expect to see in different variants. You can actually see in this picture that there are two variants of the vehicle on show, not just that the camo is different, but the armor plating is different. The one at the rear has skirting on the sides covering the tracks. Finally, we are switching over to the Americans for the last picture. This is an LVSR, a very unusual unit to see in a game like this, but obviously it's hinting at things to come. Basically, this is, much like the Russians, a bit of a modular vehicle. It comes in different variants. It can be used to, for example, pick up a shipping container, which might be a command post, or a supply truck, and then there are different variations therein. For example, it could have a vehicle on its back, it could have munitions on its back, it could be a flatbed truck, it could be carrying a boat, it could be carrying a trauma center. The list basically goes on. It is a very versatile vehicle option. Well, that is pretty much it for this video. That's the information I was provided. Thank you very much to Grigory for providing me that from the Russian social media site VK. A quick comment on comments. As always, I encourage people to comment, but please keep it civil. We're all aware of what is going on in the world right now. Other than that, as always, please do like, share and subscribe, and I will see you all soon, hopefully for more news on Broken Arrow.